wonderful working with Study Metro. I remember working with them at the very beginning when they had just started, and the entire team, everyone from Abby to Abhishek to Dimple to Zed, I remember all of them. And I have to say, kudos to you guys. You guys have grown so much. And it's so wonderful to see that all these old people are still with you, and the team has grown with Kirti and other people that I feel I now know. So thank you so much for this platform. I do have a colleague who's joining me, Valerie. I'm just going to wait till she gets on her camera and she's ready to roll. But in the meanwhile, I'm just going to begin. I know that all the students who are attending today, they've gone through a lot of different sessions from different universities, and there's a lot of information that's very helpful, but it can get overwhelming. So I completely understand. Just a background, my name is Riddhi Mehta, and I am the recruitment coordinator based in India for this region. I work for the Office of International Education, and I help with student recruitment, application processing, and communication between different institutions that work with us. So having said that, I can see we still have about 32 people in the audience who are viewing us. And shout out to all of you guys for hanging out. And it's been a long day. And for me, I mean, about more than 10 years ago, I was kind of in your place looking for schools to apply to, and we didn't have people like Study Metro back in the day, right? So it was tough. I mean, there was a lot of information overload. We kind of had to do things the traditional way. And, you know, Facebook wasn't as popular. WhatsApp was definitely not that popular. In fact, I don't even think it existed. Of course, things have changed a lot. And my goal today is going to try to make this presentation interesting from the perspective of a student. So all of you guys who are in the audience snoozing away, just get a little alert. And maybe we can wake you up a little by, if you want to just use the chat feature and type in that if you're looking for a master's program in engineering or an undergraduate, I think that will help us a lot just to know what kind of questions to expect and what we need to focus on a little more. So please go ahead, students, and use this chat and tell us if there's something specific that you're looking for. And with that, I'm going to begin. So I'm from Ferris State University. We're located in Michigan, and it's a wonderful, safe campus. Like I said, joining me today is my colleague, Valerie Campbell. And I think she's having some trouble trying to log in, so perhaps Study Metro can help her get back in. So yes, Valerie is our international admissions coordinator. She manages international student applications, she processes them, and basically she's the person who will either admit or deny you in talking to the rest of the committee. And she also manages our exchange partnerships. I'm hoping she can join us in just a few. And that's me, Vidhi, and I'm the recruitment coordinator based in India. And I work from Mumbai. And if you guys are interested, that's my phone number that I use with students for WhatsApp calls or any kind of communication. So the easiest way to get in touch with me would be to just call me or text me, or of course, email me on internationalinfo@ferris.edu. So to begin with, Ferris State University is a public school, and we are a mid-sized public school, which basically means that we're not as big as about 50,000 students, and we're definitely not as small as about 2 or 3 or 5,000 students. A good size is about 13,000 students, which is what we have. And we have international students from more than 40 countries, which is awesome. And I'll tell you more about why that's so important. But of course, we have more than 190 different programs, especially at the undergraduate level, for you to choose from. We have been around for more than 130 years. That's way before any of our grandparents were even around. And that just goes to speak about how important it is to know about the credibility of an institution like this. There's something we're doing right, which is why we're around for more than 100 years. And for sure, we pride ourselves in evolving with time and trying to provide the best and the most enriching student experience one can ask for, having invested that much time, energy, and money into a degree. So this is where we are located. I know a lot of you may not have heard of Big Rapids, but you probably have heard of the town of Detroit or Chicago. We're kind of in between both of them. We're basically somewhere located here in red. As you can see, that's the state of Michigan. And this is specifically where we are. Our campus is just beautiful. It is, of course, super safe. And there's a wonderful community that surrounds us. Our students either live on campus or off campus. And these pictures are just going to help showcase how beautiful our Michigan looks with its beaches around the time of the year. One other thing I want to point out about Michigan and what I love about the place is definitely the fact that it has 4 different seasons in the entire year. Believe it or not, I didn't really pay attention to a lot of this stuff when I was choosing my school. I guess I just got lucky. I didn't think about these factors, but when I actually went there, these were the factors that I gained the most from. I was just happy that I had them without even thinking about them. And when you're away from home, you know, it's all exciting in the first year, but as you kind of, move on into the semester, you kind of get overwhelmed. You can miss your family. So it is important to live in a place that you enjoy. My brother, you know, he went to Arizona and he loved that. But I mean, I personally wouldn't want to go to a place that had the same weather all through the year, and especially coming from India. I wanted to experience the snow, the fall, you know, all of it. So, and I got all of that and much more in Michigan. So my heart goes out to Michigan. Is Valerie with us now? Do you know if she's joined? Okay, I guess not. No worries, I'm just going to continue with this. This is something that's important for today's discussion, especially because we are talking about engineering and engineering technology programs. Now, coming from a country like India, I think we're already quite tech savvy. I think even our homegrown programs for any kind of engineering, whether it's mechanical, industrial or anything of that sort, we have some great institutions that offer you wonderful options. Now, why is it that you would even think of uprooting yourself from here and going abroad, even for your undergrad? Of course, the trend is that you want to go there for your master's, but believe it or not, there is a huge difference in the basic education system to begin with, and of course, the state-of-the-art technology. If you are an engineering student, the one thing you want to make sure you are at is a campus that offers you the best facilities, the best labs, and equipment that you can have hands-on practical training in. There's really no point in being the kind of engineer that is only very theory-based. I don't think I have to even specify this. We've all seen the movie 3 Idiots, right? And believe it or not, that is so true. I think it just goes on to say how important it is to apply this practical knowledge that you learn to make sure that you have this rounded experience. And engineering technology programs from our College of Engineering are our #1 and most popular programs with international students. So just to give you a glimpse, about 70% of our students do participate in an internship. Again, having to say, it's not that the remaining 30% don't, but again, they either are not looking for an internship at that time, or they probably want to go in for an undergrad plus master's kind of program. So that's probably why. We do have a mid-sized campus, and our student faculty ratio is 16:1. Believe me, when I was in your shoes, I had no idea what all of this stuff meant. I mean, how does it even matter, right? What student faculty ratio is like? But trust me, it does. Now, what it really means is when you go to campus, and again, coming from India, I was not used to being in a classroom, kind of like an auditorium with hundreds of students. And, you know, I was so intimidated asking a question. No, I wasn't used to any of that. So obviously, I didn't want to go to a campus where I'd have to sit in a place just like that. And maybe by the end of the semester, no one would even know my name, right? So something like this was very important to me, wherein I would be at a place where, of course, I wanted other Indian students to make friends with, but I wanted to make friends with other international students. So I had friends from Brazil, from China, from Japan. My roommate was actually from China in my first year. And in my second year, my roommate was an American student. So having said that, even today, more than a decade after I'm done with my program, I'm still friends with so many of them. And I have to say, that's what really made me. If there is the one thing that you want to keep in mind when you're shortlisting a university, is make sure you go to an international friendly campus. You want to feel welcomed, you want to get the best bang for your bang, and you want to make sure that you are recognized and remembered even after you graduate, right? A lot of us may not be that superstar on our campus when we're in high schools or colleges, but believe it or not, this is your chance to be that superstar and build your resume, build yourself, grow professionally and personally, so that when you're ready for the job world and you go in for that job interview, you're able to sell yourself, right? Your GPA is not going to get you a job, whether it's here or in the US or in any part of the world. And I'm sure you know that, right? Of course, we have placement cells, job fairs, internship fairs, and a lot of these things to help you. But the reality is you have to work on growing yourself by taking part in activities outside of the classroom and enjoying yourself, just like in these pictures here. There's so much that happens on campus. And, coming from an Indian family, and I'm personally a Gujarati, my parents were worried about, are you going to start having meat? Like, are you going to become a non-veg? Is it safe? You're my only daughter. Am I okay sending you there? Trust me, these are real questions. Even 10 years ago, parents worried about those things. And I'm sure somewhere even now, I get that a lot. It's very important, for parents to ask questions like this. They are really good questions, and make sure you factor these things into your university research, because again, it's the entire thing that matters, not just rankings, not just your GPA, not just the admissions requirements. It is this. And if you're sitting there wondering, why is it that, all these universities that spoke today talked about these things? This is exactly why, right? You want to make sure you find the campus that's right for you. And I'm sure Study Metro agrees with me. We talk about this phrase a lot, which is finding the right fit, right? You need to find what's right for you, not because my Tauji's son went somewhere, not because my neighbor went somewhere. It's what I need to do and what is right for me, all right? And you will know once you graduate from whatever university you choose to go to, that eventually marks, scores, GPA, none of this really matters. What actually matters is how that campus grew you, helped you grow professionally and personally. Okay, so with that, I do want to talk a little bit about our e-certificate summer program. Now, what is that? Basically, we've had a lot of students around the world who have unfortunately either been in lockdown, like us in India, or students that have not been able to travel to their institution, get their, documents and certificates and things like that, right? So there is this wonderful opportunity for our students to participate completely for free. It's an online program which is going to go on for about 4 weeks. This is our second batch that's about to start on June 23rd. The first one started last month. We're about to end that now. Now, what this program really is you log in and there will be a theme every week, and you will be given all the details about how this works. If you participate in this program, you are going to make friends with people from all around the world. You're going to experience what it's like to actually, meet people from other parts of the world and work with them in teams, do projects, and it's actually a really, really fun thing. Before you commit, if you just want to go and check out what this is like, you can go to our Facebook page. We have a lot of updates about how this works. You need to go to Ferris State University International and just check it out, or just email me and I'll be happy to send you some videos and some pictures and information about what this does. Now, why should you do this? If you're home, if you have nowhere to go, obviously, and if there's something you want to add to your resume, right? If you want to do something that's creatively engaging you, this is your best chance. Participate in this e-certificate free summer program, and you're going to get a certification from us about your participation. And trust me, in 4 weeks, you're going to see yourself emerge as a better listener, a better person in trying to incorporate all these different ideas from different parts of the world. And whenever it is and wherever it is that you choose to pursue your degree, you're going to gain from it. Okay? So if you're interested about this e-certificate, again, it's free, it's online, and it is for 4 weeks. It's a commitment. So just email any of us and we'll be happy to guide you to the right process. So take my word for it, do this, and it's going to really gain, you're going to gain from this. It's going to be the highlight on your resume for this year, right? So pretty much all schools that I've spoken to today have talked about, their international student advising, or, that they have a career center on campus that helps you build your resume, or, understand how you're going to go for a job interview. We have on-campus jobs. And of course, we also have what we love is a writing center. If you have assignments, right? And knowing that in India, we come from the British English, which of course doesn't just mean that we spell color with C-O-L-O-U-R and not C-O-L-O-R, the American way. There's a lot more than that. And you'll know the hard way. When you start writing assignments, you're going to learn about citations, AP style of writing, and a lot more. And plagiarism is something that you're going to make sure you learn early on. But to help you with all of this, we have a service, which is of course free, to check kind of your pieces before you submit them and guide you along the way. And believe it or not, our international students have truly gained from these services, and it is important, and that's why we talk about them. We also have tutoring services, which is, what is tutoring? It's kind of like tuition, right? When you're in India, you go to a tuition teacher who helps you out, or kind of like even now during the application phase, right? You're going to study Metro, who is in a way tutoring you and helping you through the application process. So we all love a little help along the way, and that's what our tutoring services do. And of course, on the other side, conversely, if you want to become a tutor, you can get paid if you want to teach some of the classes as a tutor to your friends or your juniors as and when you finish them. So it's a good way to make some money also. Now, what I like is study abroad. Now, of course, when I was an international student, I went there for a specific degree for a specific period of time. But what was cool was I could essentially go completely abroad to yet another country to either finish an entire semester or take a specific course or kind of a faculty-led program. That is really cool. Whether you come for an undergraduate program or graduate program, take advantage of these opportunities. You're going to get the best of both worlds. And these things are really going to help you when you apply for jobs because you've been there, right? So now, coming to a little bit more important and a serious topic, which everyone's talking about, it's the COVID. I know we are kind of at this point, we've accepted it as the way of life, right? But having said that, I don't think there's a getaway from this right now. Of course, we're hoping that things do get better and we're able to progress. But having said that, we as a campus have taken a decision to offer our fall semester for new incoming students online. I know when the moment I say online, it sounds a little scary, but I'm going to talk in detail about what this online is and why you should consider it for sure. It is something that our goal is that when you're done with the first semester here online, you're going to come to campus to complete the rest of the program. So if you're nervous about online, if you think you're not going to get the in-class experience, if you think you're just not the type, these are all myths, and I'm going to break them down one by one, and you can consider it. Again, I just want to point out the one thing that I've been asked by 1 million people, right, in the last 3 months is when are the consulates opening? When are the visa interviews? Okay, so the last update that I have is that at present, there is no established timeline for the resumption of visa services. Because of the pandemic in which we are, there is no set date for when the visa appointments will happen. Now, I did have a student that told me who paid the CVIS fee before that the earliest date he found was sometime in October. But having said that, I spoke to my colleagues at the public affairs, the US Consulate, and they said that we don't even know if that's going to be the case. They may have to postpone it further. So in this situation, I think it's not right if I was you to waste an entire academic year. I know you have issues. I know you don't have your final grades. I know you cannot get your documents from your school or your college. Your professors are probably not on campus. I get it. You can't take the GRE or the GMAT, or you don't want to take the home version. You can't take the IELTS because the only TOEFL is available online. You're worried about your visa. I completely understand. But having said that, I think the million-dollar question remains. Number one, should you or should you not study abroad given what's going on in the world? All right, if you do choose to study abroad and if you do choose to still come to the United States, which is one of the most popular destinations, and I think will always continue to be for most international students, the next step is, whether or not you've even applied. If you're one of those students who has not applied just yet, it's perfectly fine. I think I heard most schools today mention that their application deadlines are still open. Ours is open until August 1st, so you have plenty of time to get in touch with us and literally start from scratch, okay? The next step is, if you're already admitted and you're still kind of wondering whether you should defer to spring 2021 or you should just take the semester online, let's get right into it. Number one, Of course, it's easy to defer. You can just let us know you want to defer. We move your application to the next semester. Your application and your admission stays, right? We just update your I-20 and acceptance letter and send it right back to you. However, if you do choose the e-semester, there are a lot of different advantages that I want to highlight, some of them being, first of all, online is the new normal, right? I'm speaking to my niece and a lot of other of my colleagues here in India in home institutions. Pretty much a lot of them are going to be going online because it's not physically possible for students to go to class, right? So when we say online, don't think of this as like a Zoom call or a Skype call where you turn into your computer at US time and you're ready to roll. No, that's not how it works. I'll go into detail of how an online class actually functions. So the biggest takeaway is please do not delay your academic progress. You definitely do have a long way to go, especially if you're an undergraduate student. It's a 4-year program at the least. And then if you're going to push it back by yet another year, I mean, think about it. The stakes are high and there's no guarantee that things are going to be any different. We've come up with this specifically, and like many other schools, just so that it gains you the most. I think no school can operate without the benefit of students. And that's just what we created this, keeping that in mind. You will obviously not pay the same tuition fees that you pay in class. You're going to save way more than half the cost. We'll talk about that also. And I personally feel, I mean, if I know this is the school I want to go to and I'm already taking their semester online, it's just going to make my case a lot more stronger. It shows my commitment. You know, when I'm going for my interview, I know that this is the school I want to do. No, you know, there's nothing to feel afraid of. I mean, why do you want to go to the US? Well, I'm already taking this program and I love it. And I know the faculty, I know the program, I know my staff members, I already have made some friends. This is my plan, right? So if nothing else, it's just going to add to your case and not take away from it. And of course, like I said, our ultimate goal is that you join us next semester on campus. All right, now, coming to the cost, an undergraduate semester on a regular basis, if you talk of Indian rupees, it's about 6.3 lakhs, right? That's the tuition fees for one semester. However, your online is going to be offered at 4 lakhs. Now, you might say that that's not really a huge difference. It's just about 2 lakhs. But believe me, you're not just saving on the difference in tuition. You're also not going to be paying your accommodation, your meals, your board, health insurance, and a lot of that miscellaneous expenses that you incur. So all in all, if you were to compare an entire semester taken on campus versus an entire semester taken online, you're actually saving yourself more than 7 lakh rupees. So is there really a lot for you to lose? No, I don't think so. And this is just the case with graduate students also. Like personally, if I'm not coming to campus, I wouldn't want to pay the entire regular fee, especially if I'm thinking of maybe a loan or I don't know how I'm going to plan my finances moving forward. Okay, so if you have more questions about this, please write to us. We're more than happy to talk to you. I will have my phone number again on the last screen, so you can get in touch with any of us. Now, is Valerie on call with us? Is she back? Okay, I'm just going to move quickly because I know we don't have a lot of time. So these are the undergraduate programs we offer at the College of Engineering. I do want to point out a few of them. Like I said, we have some very, very specific and detailed engineering programs. You can see that we have HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and cooling. We have manufacturing, engineering technology, mechanical engineering, plastics, rubber, product design, surveying, welding, and a lot more. For the master's students, for the STEM program, we have one to offer you, which is the Master's in Information Security and Intelligence. This is really a very popular program, which is available both at undergrad and at the master's level. The cybersecurity program is going to focus on, subjects like business intelligence, database management, hacking, and all of that. And please know that Ferris State is one of the only 6 programs in the entire country to be certified and accredited by the National Security Agency as a Center for Excellence in all information assurance subject. That's key. So when you ask me why Ferris, that's why Ferris, and at a good price. So keep in mind that if you're looking for jobs in like digital forensics or cybersecurity or security architecture or maybe vulnerability research or anything related to that field, this is the program for you. Of course, this is the most growing field. I know a couple years ago, our professor, he joined us at NIT Surat. He was invited to come check out the cybersecurity program here because they wanted to grow and they wanted to ballpark. And that's kind of where we are at. It's a great program to think about. Also, the ISI, if you're not looking at, if you're not interested in doing this online because it's a master's program, do know that we have a fast track 1-year ISI program available for master's students. And yes, it is STEM. Okay, so for those of you who want to quickly zip through something quick, not give 2 years, it is a 1-year program. And yes, an internship is part of the program that you must do. How do you apply? If you've not taken anything away from this presentation, please make sure you get our contact information or talk to Study Metro and get in touch with us. For undergrads, we don't need an ACT or ACT. The requirements are pretty basic. It's the same thing. We need the online app. We do accept the Duolingo. Yes, we're waiving the application fee. You just need to let us know that you're applying and we'll work with you on that. And the other requirements are the same. If you don't have your final year transcript, just go ahead and send us grade 10 and 11 and we'll work with that. For graduate students, we require your college mark sheets. If you don't have the consolidated one, no problem. Just give us your first year till your third year and the remaining stuff is the same. Yes, GRE is required for the ISI program. And if any of you are interested, I do a lot of workshops on how do you create a good statement of purpose? How do you write a stellar SOP? How do you, how do you kind of, sorry, I lost my screen. How do you, submit a complete application? We do workshop on a lot of these things. So if you are interested in a free workshop, just let us know and we'll be happy to schedule you on our next workshop. The one thing I do want to say is that a lot of times students will write to us after they've applied that, hey, what's my application status? I think the key is get in touch with us now so we can help you create this application and submit it so that you don't have to worry about doing something wrong, right? I know we don't have much time, so I'm going to skip through this a little quickly. The minimum requirements, yes, for undergrad, if it's TOEFL, it's 61. If it's IELTS, it's 5.5. For graduate, TOEFL is 79. And for master's, IELTS is, it's 6.5. And for GRE, okay, so that's Val. I just want to quickly introduce Val to you guys. She is our everything when it comes to admissions. She's the one, like I said, who processes your applications, accepts you, denies you, and manages exchange programs. So Val, do you want to say something to the students and the GRE?
Well, hi everyone. Sorry I'm so late. I was having some technical problems, but I'm here now. So like Brady said, I'm the admissions coordinator here at Ferris State University. I review applications, transfer credit, take I-20s, so work with the immigration. I look at transcripts, do evaluation, things like that. So happy to be here today. Happy to see you. We're talking about GREs right now. So in the ISI program, is that where we're at?
Yes.
Okay, so our ISI program, as she told you, is a very good program. It's highly ranked. And as far as the GRE goes, we asked, in general, you have to be in the top 50th percentile with at least a 2.5 in the writing portion. So that we kind of break that down as like skeleton. Oops, does someone have a question? Oh, I heard someone talk. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's about 150 in the quantitative, 150 in the, what is that?
The quant, yeah.
The quant, both sides. So basically 300 and a 2.5 in your writing.
Yep,
And
I think
we'll consider, but just remember, if you're a bit lower than that and you're applying and you're afraid that you don't quite meet the all of the requirements, we're going to take a look at your whole application. So your past experience, your grades, your TOEFL score, IELTS score, your statement of purpose and how well and intentionally it's written, your resume, things like that. So we don't just base your application decision on just one point. So if you're not sure, send your application documents, we'll take a look at that, and then we'll make an ultimate decision based on what your full application looks like.
Yep, thank you for that, Val. That was very important. I know we only have a couple more minutes. What I'm going to do is focus on the application deadlines. If you are looking for the fall semester, you have until August. And please believe me, you must go ahead and consider this option. Don't be scared of the e-semester. And if you're looking at applying in the spring, it's October 15th. All right. Now, we have some wonderful FAQs that we've put together that I don't know if we have time for. Do we have time for this, or should we just try and do it in the chat room? Can someone prompt us from Study Metro? Okay, I guess what I'll do is I'll start with the main question that I wanted to talk about, and if there's time, we'll do more. The first thing is, I think, Val, you get this a lot, right? I'm nervous about taking the online course, and who's going to help me? So first of all, like I said, an online course is not by any means something you plug into at US Times and kind of follow along, right? It's what is known as an asynchronous class. Now, what is asynchronous? Asynchronous learning is basically where you're going to be given a login portal, and your assignments, your reading material, your quizzes, your exams, they're all going to be posted on that. You're going to have a professor who's going to work with you and record his lectures and send them to you. But having said that, you're going to be meeting the professor face-to-face and meeting your other classmates face-to-face as and when you go through the semester. Okay, so you're also going to be assigned to a buddy program. What's a buddy program? We all like buddies. You will be paired up with one other international student and one other American student who's going to be your peer mentor, who's going to guide you through your entire process. I mean, of course, there are questions I can't ask my professor, right? So you want to ask someone who's like your age group, or maybe a senior, or someone who you can relate to as a student, or who's gone through your experience. So that's why this has been put together. Believe me, this entire program has been very carefully curated to give you a very enriching and robust student experience. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's not your GPA, it's not just your ranking or scores. What really matters is, and I can tell you from my personal experience, when I worked in the US, I mean, I lived there for many years. And I remember my interview actually with Ferris State to begin with was more than 7 hours. I had a presentation to do with the group. I had individual people interviewing me. I had a panel discussion. They took me to lunch, which was also an interview. And I also had dinner with them. And all of this is a process of the selection process. I mean, we had phone interviews before and a lot of that. And you're only going to make it. You're going to be the person they choose if you're confident of yourself, and if you have grown, if you've talked to other cultures, if you've talked to people from different communities. That's when you've grown professionally and personally, and that's what's going to take you a long way. And I can vouch for that from my personal experience. So we do have a few more FAQs, such as, do you have scholarships for the e-semester? Yes, our costs, like I said, are significantly low. And you're not going to have to pay for any of the additional expenses like room and board or anything like that. But we do have scholarships, and those are merit-based. So please write to us if you're interested in these, and we'll help you, explain to you how they work. There's no separate application for scholarships, but again, we'll guide you step by step. Like I already talked about this, do I have to attend online classes as per US time zone? Absolutely not. Your classes asynchronous, and you kind of have to make sure that you're just keeping in touch with your professor, and it's going to be a beautiful experience. Now, can I change my major after the first semester, and can I transfer my courses to another university if I choose to do so? Yes and yes. Of course, most students coming in as the freshman, which is the first year, they're not exactly sure what they want to do, or they're so sure that when they finish the first semester, they realize that's exactly not what I want to do, right? In India, that's not the case. If you go in for a mechanical engineering program and 1 साल बाद अगर आप अपने parents को बोलोगे मम्मी मुझे ये नहीं करना है तो मार पड़ने वाली है, you're not going to be able to change your program, that's for sure. But that's the beauty of the American education. Of course, that doesn't mean you take it lightly, but you should be happy with what you're studying, and you will be assigned to an academic advisor who's going to guide you as to what classes you need to take now in case you change your semester, so you're not wasting any time and none of Papa's money. Okay, so can I transfer these courses? Yes, for sure you can. These are general education courses that any American school will be happy to take. And with that, this is my last slide. This is my contact information. And like I said, you can also get in touch with Study Abroad. They're all our friends, and